published 12:53 EDT, 4 November 2017 updated 13:09 EDT, 4 November 2017 Sam Vokes came off the bench to earn a stubborn Burnley side a third away victory of the campaign against struggling Southampton at St Marys. The Clarets, who were also indebted to goalkeeper Nick Pope's excellent performance, struck with just 8 minutes remaining as Vokes expertly turned home Johann Berg Gudmundsson's pinpoint cross to send the travelling supporters into raptures behind the goal. Pope, a former Charlton Athletic youngster, made a string of fine saves, denying Nathan Redmond on 3 different occasions on a blustery afternoon on the south coast. Sam Vokes scored his 3rd Premier League goal of the season on Saturday as Burnley beat Southampton 10 at St Marys. Vokes struck in the 81st minute after entering the action as a substitute in place of star summer signing Chris Wood Striker Vokes headed home from the penalty spot after a fine cross from Clarets midfielder Johann Berg Gudmundsson. The goal came from Burnley's only shot on target, with Saints keeper Fraser Forster well beaten despite a determined eye. Forster's opposite number, Nick Pope, was Burnley's star man, making 3 impressive saves to keep Southampton at bay. Redmond, who was thrust back in from the start by manager Mauricio Pellegrino after missing out against Brighton last week, was the Saints' most obvious threat during a first half lacking clear-cut opportunities. The England under-21 international created the first half chance, bursting into Burnley territory before blasting high over the crossbar. Redmond then turned provider, picking out an unmarked Sofiane Boufal at the back post, only for the Morocco international to volley straight at Pope. More stoic Burnley defending denied Ryan Bertrand, with James Tarkowski throwing himself brilliantly in the way of the left-back's powerful low drive. The attention soon reverted back to Redmond, whose endeavour was almost rewarded just before the break, but Pope was on hand to expertly turn away his goal-bound effort to keep the scores level. Southampton's dominance continued early into the second half, with Cedric's right-wing cross met by Gabbiadini, but the Italian failed to trouble the unshakable Pope. Bertrand was proving a valuable outlet, and the England international linked well with Redmond to force a succession of corners. But the Saints couldn't bypass Pope, who pulled off another terrific one-handed save to keep out Mayu Yoshita's dipping volley from the edge of the box. Burnley's Chris Wood, back in the team after missing last week's loss at Man City, battled with Saints' Mayu Yoshita. Right Clarets defender Ben Mee was strong in the air as he emphatically beat Southampton striker Manolo Gabbiadini to a header. Nathan Redmond left was one of the Saints' brightest players, but the hosts struggled against an organised Burnley backline. Winger Redmond came close with a decent effort in the first half, but he was denied by informed Burnley goalkeeper Nick Pope. Southampton were relentless, but equally just as wasteful. Captain Stephen Davis volleyed high over the crossbar when well placed as Pellegrino's side pressed by a decisive breakthrough. The Argentine head coach threw on Charlie Austin with half an hour to go, withdrawing the ineffective Gabbiadini to the ironic cheers of the home support. Austin, who was yet to fully announce himself in a Southampton shirt since his arrival at St Marys in 2016, instantly gave the crowd a much-needed boost, winning a meaty 50-50 challenge with Tarkowski. Inevitably though, the Saints' wastefulness left them vulnerable to the counter-attack, with substitute pairing Vokes and Ashley Barnes forcing a shift in momentum. Sean Dyche's inspired double change paid dividends, with just 8 minutes remaining at St Marys, with Vokes accurately nodding beyond the clutches of Fraser Forster. Gudmundsson cut in brilliantly from the right-hand side before delivering the perfect cross for Vokes, who eluded the attentions of Yoshita to guide his header into the back of the net. Southampton pressed for a late equaliser, with the excellent Tarkowski again throwing himself in the way of Austin's ferocious strike. A late flurry of crosses was dealt with expertly as Burnley held on to secure a 3rd away victory of the season and condemned Southampton to another frustrating defeat in front of their own supporters. Oriol Ramu left and Jeff Hendrick went toe-to-toe in the centre of midfield. Burnley midfielder Johann Berg Gudmundsson grabbed hold of Sofiane Boufal's shirt as the pair jostled for position. Gudmundsson put his hands on his hips and wore a frustrated look on his face After missing a chance for Burnley, Buffel connected sweetly with a shot, but Burnley had numbers behind the ball and were able to clear their lines.